1 Samuel 21. Then David came to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech came trembling to meet David and said to him, Why are you alone and no one with you? David said to Ahimelech the priest, The king has commissioned me with a matter and has said to me, Let no one know anything about the matter on which I am sending you and with which I have commissioned you. And I have directed the young men to a certain place. Here we see another lie in the Bible, as we've seen a couple already. He did so because he was afraid that someone might tell Saul where he was. And as we've discussed, lying is always sinful and is simply the result of a lack of faith that God cannot intervene in the situation. We'll find out next chapter that David's lying actually leads to the tragic deaths of the priests. Okay, verse 3. Now therefore, what do you have on hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread, or whatever can be found. The priest answered David and said, There is no ordinary bread on hand, but there is consecrated bread, if only the young men have kept themselves from women. David answered the priest and said to him, Surely women have been kept from us as previously when I set out, and the vessels of the young men were holy. Though it was an ordinary journey, how much more than today will their vessels be holy? So the priest gave him consecrated bread, for there was no bread there, but the bread of the presence, which was removed from before the Lord, in order to put hot bread in its place when it was taken away. All right, so David was hungry from his escape from Saul, and the only food available was consecrated to God. But Ahimelech actually does the right thing and honored his spiritual obligation to preserve David's life over the ceremonial obligation. Jesus later argued with the Pharisees over their stubbornness to love people this way. Now one of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord, and his name was Doeg the Edomite, the chief of Saul's shepherds. Doeg was likely detained from travel because it was the Sabbath. Verse 8. David said to Ahimelech, Now is there not a spear or a sword on hand? For I brought neither my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's matter was urgent. Then the priest said, The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you killed in the valley of Elah, behold, it is wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If you would take it for yourself, take it, for there is no other except it here. And David said, There is none like it. Give it to me. Then David arose and fled that day from Saul, and went to Achish, king of Gath. But the servants of Achish said to him, Is this not David the king of the land? Did they not sing of this one as they danced, saying, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s? David took these words to heart, and greatly feared Achish, king of Gath. Achish was a Philistine king, so David recognized that he was in the belly of the beast here. Verse 13. So he disguised his sanity before them, and acted insanely in their hands, and scribbled on the doors of the gate, and let his saliva run down into his beard. Then Achish said to his servants, Behold, you see the man behaving as a madman. Why do you bring him to me? Do I lack madmen, that you have brought this one to act the madman in my presence? Shall this one come into my house? Okay, so that concludes the chapter, and what we're seeing from David is response to fear rather than faith. We don't see him seeking counsel from God in these moments at this particular time in his life. And as a result, there's going to be consequences from his choices to lie and act crazy and everything that he's doing. So he's going to learn, and hope you guys can join me to find out. God bless you and take care.